I'm Andrea Cohen Gehring. I'm principal at DLR Group WWCOT, formerly Whittem & Cohen. Chet Whittem was my mentor and also our founding partner. My fellowship was unique, but not so unique. There are a lot of folks in my position where I didn't fit in any one particular object. It took me 2 years to get my fellowship, and because I'm a bit of a generalist in that I lead design for our firm, I also I'm a partner and owner, so I'm involved in the business. I'm also involved in projects, involved in marketing and business development, and really a lot of different facets. I'm a multifaceted architect, if you will. And so for me, it was difficult to pick the one thing, and with the help of Thomas Small, who's sitting right over here, a wonderful writer, and a lot of wonderful people sitting at this table, as well as Chet Whittem, who was a great mentor. We just wrote about who I was and what I do, and we didn't try to fit. And I think the opening sentence in my summary statement was, Andrea Gehring doesn't fit into your objects. And then we just explained what I do. And it took me 2 years to get my fellowship. The first year, I think it was fuzzy. It was, I think I needed that year to figure myself out and to figure out that it's okay to not fit into the object. And then everything fell into place. So that's, in a nutshell, how I got my fellowship. For me, I think what Ron said is really true. I never worked as an architect thinking, I don't believe in, well, gee, if I do this, I'll be recognized for that. I'm just a conscientious, hardworking individual. And the fruits of my labor are really because of my work ethic and the way that I interact with people and the way I give. So I never really thought about, gee, if I do this, I'll get fellowship or I'll get this and that. And so for me, part of the difficulty was I didn't really record. I didn't have photographs of my speaking engagements, or I didn't collect magazine articles or quotations, because that wasn't my focus. And by the time I was nominated for fellowship and I thought about it, I was ill-prepared. So it was hard to catch up. A lot of people are really good at keeping, everything they've written, and taking, somebody taking their picture when they speak, and all those things, which are really great. So, and the main reason I think that I was honored is because growing up as a student, as a young architect, I am a product of my mentors. I could not have gotten to this chair today if I hadn't had amazing instructors and amazing mentors. I worked with Marv at Gensler right out of school, and I worked with Tommy Landau at the Landau Partnership, and Chet Whittem, and all these wonderful, and Andy Cohen at Gensler as well. I would not be here today if they didn't take the time to teach me their skills, to teach me their ethics, to expose me and give me opportunities to speak and learn. And so for me, mentoring others when I was able to then get to the point where I had something to say was just natural for me. So I was on an AIA National Committee for Practice Management for 5 years, and during that time, the point of that is to share knowledge. It's basically to help our members putting together conferences on best practices for practice, which includes design, management, all of the above. And so I was fortunate enough to get a lot of exposure speaking at national conventions. I developed a program that I believe is still happening, a pre-convention workshop called Managing Design and Oxymoron. Again, very helpful. I received a lot of AIA surveys, when the members take surveys, and I got to have copies of those, and a lot of members would write great things about the seminars that I gave, and then of course I started collecting these things, and they ultimately became really great quotations for my submittal. So that's just one of the many ways I mentor. Right now I'm a mentor to USC students, a formal mentor through the Guild. I went to USC. I give a lot back to the university because it's what, again, that education in those contexts, that's what got me here. So for me, I never thought of being a fellow. I just did what I do, and I was just honored to receive the honor. So how So looking at yourselves, this is a great meeting, because what it means is that if you're considering fellowship, that you have the ability now to think about what are some of the things you can do to help position yourself for that submittal. But as Ron said, it's what you've done in your career beyond just being a great architect. And I think that's what the key is. So I'm going to talk about the ripple effect. That's what Mike wants me to talk about.
I was getting worried. It's taking a while.
One of the things I want to say, that the recognition of fellowship isn't just service to the AIA. I think it's service to the community. It's service to your world, your community, your profession. In your world, do you do public speaking? Do you share knowledge that helps a practitioner perhaps solve a problem or make their practice better? Do you write a book that is extremely influential, that helps, again, people, whether it's in their practice, in their any type of skill that would enable them to be a better architect or a better client? Are you in a leadership position that makes a difference? Architects as city council members, design review boards, planning committees, planning commissions. Jeff, as extremely influential at UCLA. Architects that are on the client side, that have the ability to affect a body of work that would not have been as beautiful or as influential or made a great place to work or live. Those are the types of things that you have to think about. Teaching. How many students, if you teach, how many students have you touched? You could probably go back and find all those students and find that you made an influence on their behalf. The ripple effect is basically what Ron said. It's what have you done beyond just being an architect, bringing home a paycheck, having buildings that don't fall down and kill people in earthquakes and things like that and hold water. Beyond all of that, what have you done to create a ripple effect? In other words, something that you've done that has gone way beyond normal practice, whether it's, and all of us have a ripple effect in our own way. For me, it was I mentored a great number of people during those 5 years, during my profession, and I'm doing it now. And one of the things they tell you when you become a fellow is this is just the beginning. You think you've given, and you're going to be asked to give more. And I thought, geez, I don't think I can give anymore. And I've been giving and giving, and it's going to keep going. And I enjoy it. It fulfills me. I sleep well at night, and I just love it. And I think it perpetuates. We're a mentoring profession. None of us would be here if we didn't have mentors. A little bit of housekeeping. Keep track of your quotes, of articles, photographs, speaking. Keep track of, I love what Sarah did. She went back and sent out a survey to your clients. Don't forget to, if you've done a great job and it's really helped a client enhance their business, get a letter from that client right at that time. You can always go back, but it's much easier to get it at that time. And start, so this is just housekeeping, things that, gee, if I had known this 10 years ago, I may have done that. And finally, I want to say that this committee, I didn't know anything about fellowship, I didn't know anything about the committee. I've also been involved with the AIA since I graduated from college. I was on the design committee, I was design chair, committee chair, just kind of went up through the ranks. I'm actually treasurer of AIA, and so I'm just going to continue on till I drop and do as much as I can to share.